is not to influence God to grant you special favors, but rather to remind yourself that you are always connected to God, and staying with this connection that we are at all times. It is our awareness of it, our reminding ourselves of who and what we are, that brings this communion, this remembrance of this mystical marriage of spirit and our true identity. So I know that we go forth in this service to celebrate just that, the truth of who we are. And I celebrate each and every one of you. I celebrate myself, Reverend Rita, Jeevan, everyone in this room and beyond this room. For we have come together on purpose to light our lights even brighter than they are right now. So I say yes, let's celebrate, let's unfold, let's laugh, let's dance, let's smile, let's just remember that we are pure joy, a pure spirit that has never been touched by anything but perfection. So knowing this is the absolute truth of our being, I just say yes. And I release it from a place that always says yes, that power. I release it, I let it go, and as one in consciousness we say, and so it is.
And it's in your program. So if you care to read this with me, we will affirm the truth. I realize that there is a divine presence at the center of my being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. I let it reach down into the very depths of my being. I rejoice in this realization. The perfect life of the divine is in and through me, in every part of my being. I am free because the spirit of life in me is perfect.
So let's just breathe that in for a moment. Just sit here in that perfect life which we are, each and every one of us. That's what I know. That perfect life resides within us. At all times, there's no escaping it, no doubt. This is the truth. We are the divine presence, flowing easily and effortlessly throughout every cell in our body, throughout every part of our mind, and every part of our soul. I am very aware of this now, and I speak my word from that place, knowing that this divine presence that we are flows into our life as we live it in every single solitary moment. We bring our conscious awareness to it in every moment and let it just live our life for us, through us. And I know as we do this, our lives are lifted up. Every part of our lives are lifted up. That's what I know. Our health is lifted up. Our finances are lifted up. Our creativity is lifted up into a higher way of being. Yes, all our relationships are lifted up as we relate in this way. That's what I know. That's what I claim. And I am grateful to know it, and I'm grateful to know it for each and every person in this room, for myself included, and for all of creation. So knowing this to be the truth, the only truth, that God is all, and that is what we are, I am grateful. And I release my word. I release it as law, letting it go, stepping out of the way, as we say together. And so it is. Thank you.
I wrote this for my wife. But I can see it in your eyes, like the morning sunrise. You're the dawn bird singing, a dewdrop clinging. You're the wind in the trees, you're the waves on the seven seas. The shine of the moon, the curves of a spoon. Yeah, 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 yeah. I wanna be with you in the eye of the storm. I wanna see the face you wore before you were born. Here I am and there you are. Your eyes, they twinkle like the stars. You can run, you can ride, you can even try to hide. But I see you in the falling rain, in the wings of a butterfly. I see you in the rainbow colors of the sun setting over the water, rippling, waving hello. Here I am. Here I am, waving hello. I wanna touch the earth, the sky, and feel the warm breath of the sun. You are ripening, you're blooming in the sunlight, fading into everything now. I wanna dance in the rain with you. I wanna hold your hand, I wanna hold you when you're crying. I wanna join you when you're laughing. Here I am and there you are, shining like the moonlight, twinkling like the stars. There you are, shining like the moonlight, twinkling like the stars. I wanna see the face you wore before you were born. I wanna meet you in the stillness, let us move into the eye of the storm. So beautiful, you're like a rainbow, color in the sky. You're like a campfire burning, warming up the cold dark. You
today we have a topic called Prepare Ye the Way. Pre-prayer, it's kind of a tongue twister there. Prepare ye the way. So it's funny because when we picked this title, different people said to us, I'm thinking about the song from Godspell. You weren't going to sing it, were you? All right, I'll let her sing. Anyway, we know prepare ye the way of the Lord, but this is prepare ye the way. So the prayers of today are the seeds for your tomorrow. That's what I know, and that's what I want to talk about today. And also, I want to talk a little bit about perseverance, because I think that is the most important thing about prayer. I want to read this quote by Emma Curtis Hopkins. And actually, before I do that, I want to tell you just one little story, because it's kind of about perseverance. And I know people tell me I talk about my dad a lot. Well, I got some really pretty good stories about him, because I can't help it. He was a metaphysician in his own right. Anyway, in our backyard, if you can believe us, we had a Roman garden. My dad was Italian. So, we had a Roman garden. He had to build, he was very tied to his culture, and he had to build a Roman garden in the backyard. So we had a fountain with lights coming up and a statue and walls all over the place with statues of heads and all kinds of things. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing to grow up that way. Anyway, I remember this day when he was working, because he did a lot of the work himself, but he would have to hire people. And to help him, who he called laborers. I don't know if that's a derogatory term these days, but he called them laborers. Anyway, they would come and lay the brick and all that stuff, and they would just moan and complain the whole time about how he wanted them to do the work. And he'd always go, that's not good enough. You need to do it this way. And they would go, okay, but what's the matter with you? Do you want this to last 100 years or something? He goes, 100 years? I want it to last 5,000 years. 10,000 years. So the reason I'm telling you this story is because it's kind of like that way with prayer. I mean, we want our prayers, we want to be prayed up. So what we want to do is create an attitude of prayer in our life. So Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, "The central fire burns within me. I keep on speaking the truth in my mind. I keep on until I feel the spark. I keep on until I see the flame. I keep on until I smell the smoke. I keep on until I hear the crackle. I keep on until I touch the essence of the all-consuming fire. I keep on. I am purified in the oneness. I am the central fire. I am illumined mind. I see spiritually. I see behind the form, behind the particles, and through the waves of energy to the very source of all energy." This is really exciting to me, because this is exciting. This is not laborious. Laborer. It wasn't laborious to my dad to build that wall. It was exciting to him. This is not labor. This should be very exciting, and it is to me the idea of prayer and to have a life of prayer. And what is prayer in the science of mind? It's not beseeching. We don't go up to God and beseech, for favors and beseech for our troubles, and we don't beseech in the science of mind. We just speak the truth. We speak the truth. We keep on speaking the truth until our minds embody it. So this is what I do, and I work on every day in a spirit of joyfulness. I have my challenges. You all know about my little wrist here, right? Yeah. Okay. Talked about it till we're sick of it, but I haven't talked about it in a while. But that's a little challenge that I have, but I see beyond it. And no, I have not had an instantaneous healing yet, but I have had a healing because I know the truth in spite of what's appearing. And that's what we have to do. We have to know the truth in spite of what's appearing. And it's also not about the words that we speak. Some people, some of our students sometimes are I can't pray yet because I don't know the right words to speak. Well, it's not about the words. You want to know what Thomas Troward said about that? It's good for Kaua'i. He said, you can use the words cock-a-doodle-doo. If the healing...
this morning.
Oh, good. If the healing power of spirit is behind your words. So it's not about the words you speak. There was this practitioner, I don't know if I ever told you this story before, there's this practitioner in Ernest Holmes' church who was very not very good at words. She just had a lot of feeling, and she had a lot of healings when she would pray for people because her consciousness was so high. And all the other practitioners came, and kind of were like really bickering about it to him, saying, "Why do you let her up there? She doesn't really speak very well," and blah 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 blah. And they were doing all those kind of things that people do sometimes. And he just looked at them and said, "Well, when you have as many healings as she has, then we can talk about it." So it's not about the words, it's about the feeling behind the words. So, and it's about an attitude. Prayer is an attitude. Like I said, it's not like something you do just when you have troubles. It's something you do every day. And it's something you train your mind to do. And it's basically thinking in a different way about everything. It's thinking about beyond what you see. It's thinking beyond what's happening. It's seeing, like Emma Curtis Hopkins said, where was that? I see spiritually, I see behind the form, behind the particles, and through the waves of energy to the very source of all energy. So whatever is happening in your life, you see beyond it. And you speak the truth, and you persevere, and you don't give up. This is what happens. We give up, and then we take 10 steps backwards, and we take 2 steps forward, and we take 10 steps backwards. But we don't give up. We just continue to know the truth and to know it with joy. Can't do anything without joy. No, it doesn't. You create from the energy that you're feeling. That's it. You create from the energy that you're feeling, whether you're saying cock-a-doodle-doo or not. So if you're creating from the energy of your troubles or whatever, then more troubles. That's the way it works. That's the way love works. That's the way the mental equivalent works. So in the textbook, Ernest Holmes has at least, I don't know, I counted them about 50 or 75 references to attitude, and most of them had to do with prayer, having a mental attitude. One of the things he said was, we must maintain a consistent, positive, aggressive mental attitude in truth. And we need that a lot these days, because there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot going on out there that we need to know the truth about. Things like this Malaysian airline thing. We need to know the truth about those people, wherever they are, that they're safe, and that they're in the hands of love, and in the hands of grace, and and that their families are comforted. We need to keep knowing the truth about that instead of getting messed up in all the stories and all the propaganda about it. To know the truth, that's what we do as practitioners, and we're all practitioners. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. So it's more important than ever to keep knowing the truth no matter what, and to know it with joy. Joy and thanksgiving and love. And then Emma Curtis Hopkins, I love this. Like your thoughts, are they thoughts of love or thoughts of fear? Like just what I was saying about Malaysia. Are they thoughts of love or thoughts of fear? She says, why do we pray backwards? I love this. Emma Curtis Hopkins is great. She's very Jesus if people are not into Jesus, but she's got a lot of really other good things to say if you can get through that. But, I happen to be into Jesus, but anyway, but people will complain about that. But she has a lot of good things to say. She says, why do we pray backwards? You will catch a cold. Why does a mother say to her child, you will catch a cold? She does not say you will catch health. See, we're trained weird on this earth plane. We are trained. We're trained to look at our conditions and then pray from there instead of the opposite, going back to truth. So I'm just inviting us to take the journey within, as I invite you every Sunday, for all of us to take the journey within and to look from within to the without. I remember once I was with my little granddaughter and visiting my daughter, and my granddaughter had a terrible cold, and and her mother the whole time was saying, don't do this, you're going to do this, don't do this, it's going to happen, and I just kept reaffirming, the opposite. I would just say, you're getting better and better, you're getting better and better. And by the time I left, she was feeling better and better. She was out playing. So it's that idea of just stressing the positive, even though it might seem like kind of Pollyannish to some people, not to us. That's how the change takes place. So focusing on wholeness. So there's this thing too also that focusing on wholeness, focusing on our wholeness. And this idea that we're having a human experience. I don't know if you said this last week, somebody said it sometime. We are not, every time we think we're having a human experience, we're slipping backwards. we're having a spiritual experience. Obviously we're human beings and we're in these bodies, these finite parent bodies, but beyond that, there's who knows what. But and I like my finite body, but I also like what's beyond my body, which creates my body here. So every time we say, oh, that's just a human experience, I believe we're stepping backwards. We should step into spirit instead in those human experiences and make them spiritual experiences and do this idea of seeing through to the particles that Emma Curtis Hopkins was talking about. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Does it seem like a large order? No, it's not, right? It should be fun. That's the most important thing, guys. It should be fun. So, I mean, I have my challenges as much as anybody else. I've had plenty of challenges, financial and health challenges and everything else. But I know one thing that I know about this science, and I know if you keep working it and keep knowing the truth and stay positive even in your challenges, it takes on a whole different way of being. If you just move in the direction of the truth, you're gonna live a whole different kind of life. A whole different kind of life. You're gonna pass through this finite kind of stuff that restricts us and open up to something so great. And you're gonna be able to live it while here. That's the best part. We're gonna be able to live it while here. And because nothing different is going to happen when we pass on from what I understand from what's written. Of course, I don't know because I haven't been there yet. But I get the idea that makes sense to me that if we're consciousness, and we've always been consciousness, I don't remember a day when I wasn't here, that when I pass on to my next existence, I'm going to take this consciousness, the one I've developed here, and expand because we're always spiraling upward. We're always spiraling upward. So, hi, Rumi. So, welcome. So I guess that's my message today. So Ernest Holmes wrote that we should get the faith of God, not the faith. Move away from the faith in God to the faith of God. It's a subtle difference, but it makes very much sense and truth. And he says that somewhere along the line of our spiritual evolution, this transition will gradually take place, where we shall cease having a faith in and shall have a faith of. Always in such a degree as this happens, a demonstration takes place. So that's what we're moving toward, is to have the faith of God, because that's who we are, the presence and love and light and divine energy of God. So as we start to think from that place and start to look at our troubles from that place, they will disappear. They will transform, they will transmute. I know that. I've seen it happen in my own life. And I don't know what's in store for each of us, but I know that it's amazingly great. So I want us to close by reading that quote by Emma Curtis Hopkins one more time, because I think it's so beautiful. And I just ask, just take a deep breath and just take it in and just enjoy it, okay? And feel yourself saying these words. Central fire burns within me. I keep on speaking the truth in my mind. I keep on until I feel the spark. I keep on until I see the flame. I keep on until I smell the smoke. I keep on until I hear the crackle. I keep on until I touch the essence of the all-consuming fire. I keep on. I am purified in the oneness. I am the central fire. I am illumined mind. I see spiritually. I see behind the form, behind the particles, and through the waves of energy to the very source of all energy. And that very source of all energy is who we are, and it's with us at all times. Namaste.
I'm going to talk about what preparing means. And I think it's time for at least myself to get to a point of being bold. This week, the word bold really came to pass for me. And I kept hearing it. And when I was a kid, being bold was not a good thing. Because I can still remember my mom saying, we didn't have a room in the backyard, but matter of fact, we didn't have a backyard now that I'm thinking about it. What I remember her saying is, don't be bold. You know, oh, those children, they're so bold. You know, that means that they're talking when they're not supposed to, probably. But she said, anytime you're bold, you're coming out, and that's not a really good place to be. But she didn't mean it, from a place of, she just wanted us to look good in front of the friends, so don't be bold. So I was thinking of that, but I like the idea of being bold, because I think that it takes me out of complacency. It takes me out of just waiting to see what will happen. And I thought of that, and Ernest Holmes says, prepare your mind to receive the best that life has to offer. Prepare your mind. He doesn't say go out and make sure you get everybody to do what you want them to do. He says prepare your mind before you go out. Prepare. And I was thinking to myself, what is the definition of prepare? It says to make ready beforehand for a specific purpose, as for an event or an occasion. And I thought to myself this morning when I woke up, was I preparing to come here mentally? Yeah. Could I know exactly what was going to happen? Not necessarily, but there's a part of us that likes to do that when we prepare. Especially if you're preparing any kind of group or anything else, you want to make sure that everything goes right. And the way that, for me, that I can guarantee that is by making my mind aright. And making sure that I am prepared to meet whatever it is from this place that Rita was talking about, this place of, this place where spirit is. And so I'm asking us a question today, and you don't have to answer it because it would take a while, wouldn't it? What are you expecting? What do you expect out of everything that we do? What do we expect? Not what are we going to get, necessarily, but what do we expect? What do I expect from this life of Patrick? What do I expect out of my world? And I have the right, not to tell you what to expect, but I have the God-given right to know what I expect out of my life. To me, that was the gift that was given to me when I arrived here, and we all know how long, I think I've been here since the beginning of creation. That same spark that was talked about, I was there, you were there. We just were not being expressed as we are right now. That's exciting. That is absolutely exciting. So I'm thinking, what do I expect? Or is it that sometimes, and I know I do, I think to myself, well, I'll see what happens. Have you ever thought that? You'll go out and you'll see what happens. So what are you going to do? I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's a lot happening out there, just in case any of you are wondering. There's a lot of stuff happening. And I just don't really want to be in all of that crossfire of just everybody's thoughts and energy and conditions and all of this stuff. I know that I can take care of my mind. So I was thinking of my mom, who I asked her the other day. I talked to her, and I said, Mom, what do you think about prayer? But I have to share something else with you, because you know how I have to tell you all the secrets and all the transparent stuff. Nothing's kept quiet here. So my mom, I get a call from her, and she says, I went to your other center in North Hollywood, and somebody was with me, and they said that they didn't really like the center a lot, only because they said that they were God. And she said, I told them, well, my boy would never say he was God. And then I could hear the Bible passage going through my head when Peter denied 3 times and the cock crowed. You know that one, like, you're going to deny me 3 times? And she goes, my boy, you don't say you're God, do you? Cock-a-doodle-doo. No, what happened was I froze, like, Peter in the Bible is like, you're going to deny me? No, I'm not. Mom, it's like, I said, well, no, I never, what I'm saying, Mom, is that there's no separation. Well, I thought so. So I said, okay, let's leave it at that. That's not really denial. That's not really denial. So, cock-a-doodle-doo, I knew I could get that in there somewhere in this talk. So, I tell you that story, why? Once again, because I can. And also I believe what it is that there is that thing about being bold that, it's good except when you're talking to your mom. You know, and it's okay to, you know, I guess then I go, I was here at the beginning of creation. Mom, I'm just like a part of God, not all of God. I mean, so I'm learning as well that, and I'm thinking she's 93 years old and I just gotta leave things alone at this point. But anyway, I'm just laughing because I'm thinking to myself that I can still hear that you're going to deny me 3 times. Only once. I only did it once. So anyway, I was asking her about prayer, and she says, you know, the really good thing about prayer is that I pray all the time. I don't like to use the word devout with my mother, but she is a Catholic. And she said, you know, like she'll always say to me, oh, it's Palm Sunday. Ever miss being a Catholic? And then I'm able to say without denial, no. Don't know, Mama. Don't have a problem with that one. We'll talk about God later, but I don't have a problem with that one. And she said that this prayer idea is something that you constantly do. She says, I don't pray just when things are going. I pray every day. And she's a very quiet prayer because she doesn't really like, she says you shouldn't discuss religion in front of people. Hello. Here I am. But the whole idea is that she prays constantly, and I get that. But the reason that my mom prays constantly, just to let you know, is because she's worried constantly. And so she said, so when I address her, I go, are you praying because you're worried, or you're praying because we're coming from? And she goes, well, I've been worried. I said, well, worry is something that doesn't work for you. She goes, well, I'm 93, and it's worked well for me for 93 years. I said, okay, so I said, it's okay, but she does love this philosophy, and she does call this philosophy authentic. And she said that I've never met this many happy people all at one time when she goes to the different centers, and I agree with that. So what am I preparing? I'm preparing not to pray, but it's the mystical marriage. And I love Ernest Holmes says, someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear. The fear that God will not answer our prayer. That's what I get very emotional and yet very excited about at the same time. When I had to give up the spiritual fact, that there was somebody outside of myself dictating cruelty, dictating things that said, I don't like you, and their prayer gets answered and yours doesn't. That's not true. This is what he says, I need glasses, about prayer. This is what he says when you don't get your prayer answered. Now, I grew up as a Catholic, and I prayed a lot. I begged constantly. Not even for the stuff I wanted as a kid, but, you know, make him do this and make him do that. I mean, I used to pray to the saints to make sure that the girl that I liked would like me because she had the same name, Teresa. So I would pray to the saint and go, Teresa, same name, like me. So I was constantly on the big, let's make a deal all through up until 8th grade, till I realized that marriage that I was looking for was inside of me. But this is what he says about when you don't get your prayers answered. Since some people have been healed through prayer while others have not, the answer is not that God has responded to some and not to others, but that some have responded to God more than others. Their prayer, their thought, has responded by corresponding. The answer to the prayer is in the prayer. The answer to the prayer is in the prayer. That's why I say the moment that we have I call it, it can't really be a request because the law always says yes, the power always says yes. But the moment that we have a consciousness on demand box, that you put something that's going on in your life and you place it in there and read it, and I stand in consciousness. And also, Reverend Karen is going to now join in on the ministry in Reno in their CSL and to join in prayer. But here's the thing. The moment that you ask, it is already activated. It is already received. Now, when I really land that, and I really believe that, then I will be a walking prayer. I will be a constant walking, not a prayer. I'll be a walking demonstration. And so will you. That will mean there'll be no more asking. There'll be no more pleading. There'll be no more negotiating. No more bargaining. None of it. What it will be is, ask and you shall receive. It's been said for thousands of years. Thousands. So, that's my message. What are you preparing for? And let's prepare from a place of already having. Now, could you prepare for that? Absolutely not. Or did I? Alrighty. So, see? Got you all scrambling now, right? So this is what I like. This energy that I'm feeling right now, this is what I like. It's called excitement. It's called being bold. We've got the greatest gift that we are sitting on. And that's how I will end. We have got this power that we are, and there's nothing to get, there's nothing to buy, there's nothing to do any of that with. How great is that? And all we have to do is say yes. Can you say yes with me right now?
Yes. Yes.
I need a little something more.
Yes.
Oh, that was it. Namaste.
Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And this bright light of mine, the weather, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
What I know right here and right now is we do let it shine. We take our light out into the world and we live this. We live this light, this love that we are. And so it is. Thank you.